guys, how's it going? Thank you for the introduction. My name is Anurag. I am on the customer success team at Highfive. And I thought I'd kind of, in the spirit of customer success, that's awesome, tell you a story. And stories of Highfive and my journey at Highfive, but it really taught me some valuable lessons on how we can think about things other than churn and the theme today. Really, we can actually take a product to market. So, real quick, who am I further? I learned the trade of customer success at this company called Yammer. To give you guys context, I joined as a 198th employee, and the company raised $40 million to date. So there's a lot of champagne flowing everywhere. It was pretty fun. And joined a humble Highfive as a 19th employee. The company had raised about $13 million to date in a Series A. So very different context. The product wasn't to market, and that's kind of what the story's about. So what will I be sharing with you guys today? So basically 3 key things. My first week at Highfive, and it's a funny experience and funny story. And my VP is sitting right here, so I might call him on him to share more details. What we called our Highfive beta program, which was our first foray into the world of customers, and how success kind of had a big hand in that, and how that experience shaped where we are today in kind of a full production mode of customer success, selling, making customers really kind of excited and passionate about what we're doing. So, real quick, why Highfive and what is Highfive? So, like I said, I started the world of, social networking in the enterprise, and said, you know what, I kind of, this is going to age me very hilariously early on, but I started college, and Facebook was like, we were like the 30th college Facebook rolled out to. So to me, social networks was the absolute way to communicate. It was the way to engage with human beings. And when it comes to work, it kind of only made sense. I hate email. It didn't make any sense. And after that experience, I said, what's the next big thing? So I recently became an uncle to 3 nieces, and it's funny, one of their first 10 words is iPad. And it's because they FaceTime with my parents all the time, and it's just part of their vocabulary. So I kind of knew video is clearly the future, and it's kind of the next big thing. As a pulse of a hand, who here actually talks to their customers on video? That's awesome. I love it. Okay, that's pretty good. And so clearly that's kind of an indication of the future, and I just thought to be more. So I get to Highfive, I literally apply online, I think Jeff here somehow gets my resume, I get an interview, and I have 30 minutes with the CEO. So CEO walks up to me and says, hey, have you seen movies about the future? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of have. I kind of grew up a bit of a geek. And he's like, have you seen Star Wars? I was like, yeah. He's like, what's funny? No one uses a telephone in Star Wars. It's like, my God, you're kind of right. I guess he's like, they kind of talk in holograms and they talk face to face. And it kind of started to hit me at that moment. And he said, you know what, this transformation of every conversation that people are going to have in the future is face to face. And it was pretty incredible hearing this from a CEO who never launched a product. And he handed me a piece of hardware and said, hey, here's the key to this thing happening. And I said, all right, this sounds pretty cool. And as I walked out of the interview, I kind of realized that as a CSM, this is going to be an opportunity to transform fundamentally how people communicate. The ability to make every conversation face-to-face was something I wanted to be a part of. And it sounded like an awesome opportunity. It wasn't just about an upsell or renewal. It was actually truly about transformation. So my first week on the job. So basically, I started at Highfive. They used to do this funny thing. We were in Palo Alto. And if you've seen the Palo Alto train station, basically the first activity you have in the day is, as a Highfive employee, they make you run out to the train station and literally give like 10 people high fives. And they're like, oh my God, like, are you serious? Why are you giving me a high five? Like, well, I work at a company Highfive, and I was wearing this crazy hat and boa feather thing. It was pretty awesome. But that kind of wasn't the kicker. So first day ends, pretty good experience, and I get an email from Jeff here saying, hey, as at 3 a.m., I literally am in the ER. I guess he woke up, fainted, hit his head, and he said, hey, would you be up to go to New York to do some usability workshops? And in my head, I'm like, usability workshops are a product that I literally know absolutely nothing about. Are you joking? But I'm like, all right, let's do this. As a CSM, like, this is totally cool. We'll make this thing happen. Drink a bunch of beers with the customers. It'll be totally fine. And so I literally pack my bag, and I pack, who here knows what a LAN party is, first off? Okay, we have a couple computer nerds in the room. Basically, it's like what people used to do in like the 90s and plug in your computer, play videos with each other. It was like a bunch of routers and hardware, you know what I'm talking about. And literally, that was the experience. I literally had a bag about this big full of networking equipment and gear. And I was going to somehow show the customer this product that kind of works. I had to literally write lines of code to boot it up. I felt like I was jump-starting a car. And I get to the first customer, I press the button, and the thing just fails. It like literally does not work. And I'm like, this is awesome, cool, this is really fun. What do I do next? So it was kind of the perfect opportunity as a CSM, because what do you do in that situation? When you get to a customer and your product fails, you kind of talk about why you're in the room together. You talk about that transformation. You talk about what you're trying to do for them as an organization. And that conversation really kind of turned out to be a 7-hour conversation, over a lot of Chimay beer, which a guy just tried for the first time. And he was completely sold. He said, hey, I believe in what you're doing. What you guys are doing is worth so much, and I'm so glad you guys are including me as part of this journey. I can't imagine buying a product from anybody else because they just ship me something. This is something that's truly personal, something that really makes me feel like you're solving a problem that's ongoing for me and kind of weaving in the things that are important to me. So long story short, got the feedback, kind of fixed a couple of bells and whistles, said, hey, the purple color is completely ugly. I think we should go with a slightly darker purple color in our logo, and made the changes to the product. So fast forward to summer, we finally were at a stage where we said, hey, we can finally launch our product off. Like, we can actually do this beta program, get people up and going, and kind of see how this Highfive thing actually worked in the wild. So our approach was pretty simple. We said, from day one of our company, we said, hey, we need customer input continually, so let's bring them along the way. So we basically said, how do we bring you along the way? We said, X customer, give us your feedback, and we'll give you early access to our hardware. Who here has bought anything on Kickstarter? Yeah, exactly like that. So we just said, hey, but we're not really going to charge you on a website. A human being is going to talk to you. The CSM is going to talk to you. And we're going to incorporate your feedback all along the way. So we kicked off a program called Ignite. It was basically our pilot program. And what we did is we sold early access, and we also kind of sold me as the bait, which was hilarious. He says, oh yeah, he'll figure it out for you. Don't worry about it. It'll all be good. And basically what we did is we signed like a quick letter of intent with customers. We did pilots both in San Francisco. And the real reason why was starting with customer success that early on, before a product even made it to market, was the fact that we could learn and observe continually and start this engine of understanding customer feedback. Where are their pain points? What are we solving? Where are the use cases? What are all those things that you ultimately need to kind of tell the stories to kind of be in a full production company? So kind of what worked. So it turns out, if you're solving a problem that's actually big enough and people are truly, they feel like it's a problem, they don't mind the effort. They are totally fine with allocating some resources, saying, yeah, I'll try your product. That sounds really cool. The second is, it has allowed us, like I said, is to establish this continued chain of feedback. In the video world, one example that I have is our customers were literally saying, like, people don't talk to each other. Literally, like on conversations, one of their biggest challenges with conference calls is, who's ever been on a conference call and you're just like, it's a Friday morning and you're like not engaged, you mute yourself and you're like, yeah, I see like everyone smiling in this room. And that was the problem we solved. They're like, look, we're a company that's been around for 10 years. We're not the hot, sexy startup anymore. And we want people to be engaged. And they actually are, they hire great people that really connect with each other, but we need a platform to do that. And so long story short, all those kind of inputs and all that kind of pain point really resonated with us, and they were very happy to be along the way with us. And the third is, the reason why I want to get your product out early to market is you get those stories to raise your rounds of financing. I don't know how many folks here are early stage startups, but it's all about that next round. So those stories really help get you to the next round. What didn't work? So I don't know if we have any airplane buffs in the room, but hardware's a little different than software. Anytime, I don't know if you guys have a broken fridge, but you actually have to have somebody come out to fix it, or like literally take it back to like Sears to get it fixed. That's kind of like our hardware. We had a catastrophic failure the second week of shipping. And basically, all our devices overheated. I literally had people walking into the conference saying, guys, the TV's really warm right now. And we're like, oh my God, like, what do we do? And so as a CSM, you say, hey, it's totally cool. Like, don't worry about it. I totally understand your pain. We're going to fix this. So literally, me, Jeff, and one more CSM, there's 3 of us, we shipped over 70 devices in 1 week to like, a dozen pilot customers that are working with us. And it was pretty painful, but a great learning experience. Key takeaway, too, is when you're doing a pilot, people always want to do things that are just not in the playbook, right? And I see so many heads like yawning. They're like, yeah, those customers. They want to do things that are just like off the playbook. And the hard part is literally, like, our hardware was designed to do a couple things. If you press this extra button, it might just have a nervous breakdown and just completely melt. So that was a bit of a pain point. And the third is, as a CSM, this was kind of the unique opportunity, is staying top of mind was hard because they hadn't paid us yet. So we struggle with this as, in general, as CSMs. You're kind of interacting with users. You're saying, hey, give me attention. I want to show you how this is going to help you, X, Y, Z. Doing this in a world where no one has paid you yet is even harder, and you have to abstract the conversation to a philosophical level. You have to really understand what that person's pain is and their organization's pain is and resonate with that constantly. So what surprised us? Despite all the challenges, and despite this kind of sense of shared purpose, and all the challenges with shipping boxes and literally having a guy run every conference room, plug things in over and over again, customers converted. They bought our, in December, they said, hey, we love what you guys are about. Thank you so much for taking us along this journey. We really feel like you've worked with us. And even though they're competitive products that were further along the life cycle with us, they went with us because we included them since day one. We kind of really said, hey, we're building a customer-centric company, and that was clearly the reason behind their buying decision. Second takeaway that we didn't realize is, who here is an engineering organization that pretty much turns their ear when you guys try to give feedback? Raise your hands. Yeah. It was really funny because, for our product, we had a group of incredibly talented engineers building a product for almost 3 years. And they were literally heads down, making assumptions, working weekends, doing every single thing that they could to kind of make this product come to life. And basically, they loved the program, and it kind of worked. And the third takeaway is we could have shipped earlier. Every company believes that. And so where are we today? So basically, it gave us a running start. We had a lot of success stories. We've kind of deployed. We've been selling for 3 months, and it's been awesome. And so now we have a customer community of champions. The same guy that I drink Chimay beers with is in literally every one of our press articles. So if you see a guy named Sean Winters, that's the guy. Second is we're seeing large-scale wall-to-wall deployments, I was saying, and success in engineering are closer than ever. So moral of the story. So number one, success can make a major, major impact at early-stage companies or companies that are building new products. So do not underestimate the capability of taking your product and weaving the customer in from day one. Number two is the earlier a company can bridge the gap between engineering and customers, the better. If I had $1 for every time an engineer shipped a line of code and did not care where it went, and then I put a face in front of them, it kind of changes the game. And third is they want to see you succeed, so invest early and invest as much as possible.